I'd like to thank, first of all, the committee that helped me. I did not do this on my own. So please, thank you. And with that, Sister Simone Campbell.
Thank you. Oh, bravo. Well, I have to say that my contact with Ann has made me just value her greatly, and I feel like we were sort of through some sort of a war together. I mean, you know, back and figuring out where this was going to be, and we just both said, let's make this happen. So this is such a treat to be with you tonight. We've been doing this bus trip, and I'm beginning to lose my voice from doing this, but hopefully it holds out. We've been doing this bus trip since June 17th, and what we're going to do tonight, I have no idea what date it actually is now, but I know it's pretty far along in our 2,700-mile trip. We're going to spend a little time. I want to tell you how the bus trip got started, and then my nuns on the bus are going to talk about some of their experiences, what they've seen. It has been a profoundly moving experience, and I have to tell you, to be on the road and to be in Harrisburg when the Affordable Care Act was upheld by the Supreme Court. We were driving in the bus, and you saw the bus outside. Isn't it beautiful? Whoa. Anyway, but we were going under bridges and through tunnels, and we would lose coverage. So at the first truck stop, we pulled over just so we could watch the whole thing. And we were so disheartened when the first thing we see is CNN saying it was struck down. And I was like, oh, and we worked so hard for this. But then when it turned around, you know, it was sort of one of those, you know, Dewey defeats Truman moments. First, we're going to do how it got started. We're going to do what our experience is, and then a bit of a wrap up about the Ryan budget and what's going on and what we have to be concerned about going forward. I like to say that April 18th, 2012, you know, is that day that will live in infamy. It was a day that the Vatican issued its assessment against the Leadership Conference of Women Religious. When the Vatican assessment was issued against the Leadership Conference of Women Religious, it was a shock for all of us. And what that was that the Vatican in Rome said that the Leadership Conference of Women Religious, which they created, the Vatican created them, was errant. They were promoting, well, I can't even remember all of it now, radical feminist views, and they were doing too much social justice, and they were silent on the other issues of abortion and same-sex marriage. Well, since they're Catholic sisters, I don't think abortion or same-sex marriage probably enters into their lives very much, but the issue was that for us, that they also said that they had this relationship with Network, our organization, which was suspect. Now you need to know that Network is a national Catholic social justice lobby, and we lobby on Capitol Hill. We don't teach doctrine. We're not a theology school, which is what the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith controls, or schools of theology. We only do politics. But so we were shocked that we were named, and additionally we only have 9 full-time staff, plus we have 3 associates, one of whom's folks are here tonight. Yay, bravo, the Gibbles. So Mr. Gibbles here. So Eric, his son, is our associate, and we are a small operation. And I was shocked that Network would be named, 1, as a problem, and 2, that the Vatican even knew about us. But then when I saw the dates, that the original report was filed in June of 2010, I realized that in March of 2010 what we had done was created what's called the Nuns letter for healthcare reform, where the Catholic sisters came together and signed onto a letter I wrote saying that we supported the Senate bill that was in the House to pass it for healthcare reform. So I think really it's the political analysis is that the bishops who filed the report were upset at us for the fact that we took a stand different than theirs. I want to make clear that our theological stand is not different than the bishops. It's just that our political stand, I'm a lawyer, I read the bill is in keeping with our faith, and so we feel very comfortable saying that it's that there's no federal funding of abortion. I'm also pleased to tell you that 2 federal courts have agreed with my interpretation. I'm very sad to tell you that the bishops reiterated today, again, in response to the ruling, that they believe there might be some federal funding of abortion, and therefore they continue to withhold their approval, which is very worrisome to me, especially when 2 federal courts have weighed in on it. Apart from that, so I think that why we got named was because we did better politics than the bishops, and they had poor political advice. We can go into that at another time, but let me tell you about the bus trip. So quickly I knew that we could speak because we don't have a direct connection to Rome. So within about 5 minutes of finding out that this had happened, I'm talking to New York Times, AP, CNN, I don't know how many million people I talked to that day. And the firestorm that started of interest in this thing was overwhelming. After I got over being numb, I was doing my meditation one morning. I do an hour meditation in the morning. And I was doing my meditation and it came to me, we at Network don't have a big enough imagination to imagine how to respond. We need a bigger imagination. We've been at this for 40 years. I haven't personally, but Network's been at it for 40 years. We had just celebrated our 40th anniversary. One of the big conversations at our 40th anniversary was, how can we get the name of Network out there? How can we let people know about our mission? Well, we had a lot of little ideas. We'll take out an ad, or we'll ask a member to get another member. We did not have the Vatican on our strategy plan at all. But I must say, be careful what you pray for, because this went like kaboom, and now it's quite common to know about Network. But I knew that we were caught in the same depressive cycle that many Catholics are caught in, where our church just pains us. It's really sad, it's horrible, but the federal government is horrible. But you can't change the federal government till you kind of change the church, and you can't change the church to deal with the federal government. So we go around in this big circle. We needed help from the outside. We needed help from folks who weren't caught in the same sadness that we were caught in. So I went to what's called the Big Table, which is all the big players in DC that meet every Tuesday night. And they, at the end of a meeting, the Tuesday after the assessment came down, I said, we need help. And then Ron Pollock, who you may have seen on the news tonight, because he heads Families USA, stood up and gave this amazing tribute to Network, and said, and everybody stood up and applauded. We had a standing ovation, including the White House staff. It was like, whoa. I mean, I was so humbled by that. But then what happened was, okay, people applaud in DC a lot, you kind of, so, or not. But what happened was that people started throwing their cards at me. We're with you, sister. We're in. You count on me, sister. I'm in. We're in. And I had this whole wad of cards of folks who wanted to be a part of this. So we convened a meeting at our office, and we said, what can we do? We did this analysis of where we stood, and then people started talking about, well, how could we respond? What would make sense? How would it work? And all of a sudden, we don't remember who thought of it first. Somebody said, well, let's do a bus trip. The sisters could do a bus trip. That would be great, and we could raise up the Ryan budget, because we've been working on this so hard for 2 years to push back against this thing. And so it was fun, because we're thinking a bus trip, and I'm thinking like a school bus. I mean, Mary Ellen's here from our office too, and it was like, oh, okay, on a school bus, that'd be cool. We could kind of travel around, it'd be nice. And I'm thinking like 45 people, great. And so then they start about wrapping the bus. We can wrap the bus. Well, is that a kind of music, or is that something on the outside? We had no idea what they were talking about, but everybody got excited. And so the thing that I learned was 2 things that we've done. We asked for help, and then we let help be help. If you let help be help, then you kind of, okay. Sort of like, I'm a Californian, so it's sort of like surfing on a surfboard. You just kind of catch the wave and see what happens. And we might tumble, who knows, but it's been exciting, that's for sure. So that was May 14th. I said we had to have new money. We couldn't go back to our old donors. The whole idea was to explode who Network is, expand it. And within 10 days, we'd raised $150,000 to do the bus trip from new people. It was like awesome. Everything from a guy from LA who sent this little letter with a little scraggly pencil written thing, you know, I really with you, I really care much, but let me support you. And he sent a $2.50 money order. And in the very same mail delivery, about 5-6 envelopes later, comes this envelope, we pull it out, and it is a letterhead, nicely typed written, in honor of two sisters, this couple we don't know, in honor of two sisters who work in Newark that they are so impressed with. This couple sent $25,000. I mean, it was like, and then we had another guy stop by, he'd read about it in the New York Times, and he said, I want in, what do you need paid for? So I'm going through what we need paid for, you know. Oh, there are these signs, they're a little expensive, there's this, that, and the other thing. And then I go, well, there's gas, you know, that's like, they say it's gonna be $12,000. And so I'm going out and he says, you know, gas, I'm really interested in gas. He pulls out his checkbook and writes a $10,000 check. And then says, sister, if you get to the pump and you don't have enough, just give me a call, I'll put more in. But it's that kind of magic that made this happen. So on June 17th, then we said, when the New York Times article broke, I think it was June 6th, we got a call immediately from the Fort Des Moines Hotel that the owner wanted to give the nuns free rooms. Well, we had said in the Fort Des Moines Hotel, in the paper, that we were going to start at Ames. Well, we didn't know you had to fly to Des Moines to get to Ames. I thought you could fly to Ames. So I thought, oh, Fort Des Moines Hotel, that's really nice. So, okay, we'll get back to you. Then we find out we have to fly there. So we had a free night in the Fort Des Moines Hotel.